This is a found poem. Music. Okay, I think it might be a little too loud. Scans show that this little boy was born with just 2% of his brain. He's astounded doctor. He's astounded doctors. He has surprised us through his life so far. He's completely remarkable. You are one amazing kid. You are. And astonished his parents. How he was doing the things he could do with such a small amount of brain. I don't think I'll ever understand it. I love you. He is a complete miracle. Before he was ever born, doctors predicted Noah would be severely brain damaged and was unlikely to survive. I've never seen a baby's coffin before. It was like being hit with a baseball. But you know, this is our child's brain. But somehow Noah defied all the odds, and his family have worked tirelessly on developing Noah's brain. I wanted to make sure that he was making use of the best of what he got. Then something even more baffling was to happen. Look, his brain has grown, and we had one picture with a little bit on one side, and we had this great big brain on the other. Everyone was just hugging each other because it was just so extraordinary. Noah's brain had grown, which it's not supposed to do. I don't believe it. Noah was defying medical understanding. Every time we see the doctors, they just shake their heads. They're just amazed at what he can do. Leading specialists to question how our brains really work after all. Seeing those scans is a kind of wake-up call. Noah's case is a message of hope for anyone. I think he teaches the medical profession that you can't ever know. What are we going to teach other doctors? Can we learn anything from you, Noah? That's Noah's brain. Isn't it? It's every parent's worst nightmare. We planned the nursery. What kind of stroller should we get? We need teddy bears. We need lots of teddy bears. I was overjoyed, absolutely over the moon. Shelley, like every expectant mother, had a scan at around 20 weeks, which is called the anomaly scan. You're looking to find out if there's anything wrong with the baby, and obviously for the vast majority of women, there's nothing wrong. The anomaly scan's actually very nice because it's the first time you get to see your baby's face properly and count fingers and stuff. But for Shelley, it wasn't good news. As the images of the baby started to come through, the radiographer found something that alarmed her. She went very quiet, which obviously alerted us. There was something maybe not quite right. It was just like someone had just switched her off completely. She just didn't speak, and the room just went silent. The first thing you ask is there a heartbeat? That's the first thing I asked. And she said yes. Thank goodness there's a heartbeat. But she said I need to speak to somebody. It was devastating news. The son they had already decided to name Noah had spina bifida. It's a condition where the spine doesn't develop normally and a cyst or hole forms on the baby's back. It can mean paralysis and brain damage. I had no idea what was going to happen, whether I would end up going into hospital right then and there, because it looked okay to me. He was kicking, I could feel it. Noah had very severe hydrocephalus. His head was very big. The fluid cannot escape from the brain at the same rate at which it's being made, so it builds up, and Noah's head just got bigger and bigger. As Noah's head filled with more and more fluid, the tiny amount of brain matter was getting smaller and smaller. It looked like he would be born without a brain. Talking about a very significant reduction in brain volume. Rob and Shelley's baby was alive, but scans showed his brain was vanishing. Every time we got a bit of different news, it was bad news. It was like being hit with a baseball bat. We were stunned. This is our child's brain. It was horrendous. How much does this little boy have to go through? All of Rob and Shelley's plans for their unborn baby fell apart. Your whole world just collapsed. It was devastating. Rob would come home and we'd both look at each other and just cry. Ultimately, there was so little brain that their child was unlikely to live for very long after he was born. We had warned Shelley and Rob that there was a chance that he would not survive. It was never... We wanted to give Noah that chance at life. If he was born and didn't survive, then at least we'd given him that chance. Then, nature would have taken over. Hoping for the best and preparing for the worst, Shelley and Rob started to make plans for their unborn baby's funeral. I've never seen a baby coffin before. I just felt as if I was in a bubble. People were talking, but I couldn't really hear what was going on. It was horrible. The odds were stacked against him. Music. As doctors prepared for the birth of Shelley and Rob Wall's son, Noah, no one was expecting a baby to survive. During the pregnancy, Noah's skull had been steadily filling with fluid, and as the fluid kept building up, what little brain remained was disappearing. Doctors needed to act fast. We were told his head had grown dangerously large, and they said, "We have to get him out!" At that point, I didn't know how much brain he had. Doctors got ready to give Shelley an immediate cesarean. They didn't know if they were going to have to cut right the way up to basically get him out. I said, that doesn't matter. Just however you need to cut it to get him out. Carefully. Noah was especially fragile. As well as having very little brain, his spinal bifida meant he had an open wound running down his back. I couldn't wait for him to be born, but then I was scared because I didn't know if I was going to get 5 minutes with him, an hour, or a month with Noah. I just didn't know.